What's up everybody? In this video, what I really want to share is that being myself a citizen of India right now, what are the reasons I chose not to live in India? Okay? Here are the reasons. Just before that, let me give you some example related to this so that you can know why I will not live in India anymore. First and foremost, I'll tell you this story. This really happened to me. When I visited the YouTube meetup, it's a subscribe meetup, and the very nightmare moment that happened was that there is a guy who slapped me unexpectedly in my face. He judged me without even getting to know me. I never ever done mistake, and he is just spreading all his lies on me, and he's pretending like he is the one authority. Why? Because to misuse his power. To be honest, guys, I am sharing it just because it's a very real thing that's happened to me, and let me tell you. Because of this, I suffered all these years. Most of my life, I suffered living in this country. Not because of this country, because of this mentality of this Indian people. I chose not to live in India anymore. I am very tired and sick of these gossiping people who are not minding their own business. Okay, with this story, let me list out what are the reasons I choose not to live in India anymore. Very first thing, these Indian parents filled with corrupted tradition mentality. Yes guys, the problem is, even if you look at me, I am sharing you this because to understand what the real life that I faced and how much suffering I faced, filled with such a false belief and with such a false threat against me. Okay. See, when a child wants to make his own decision in India, okay, these Indian parents just spread their problems onto them. They physically abuse them, they cause harms, and too much of power and authority is being misused. Using this only, they try to exploit themselves and put their children's life at a mess. And I've already told you why you are trying to be overprotective, because they care for your future. Stop that fucking nonsense. As an Indian, I am telling you, stop that fucking nonsense. This is the thing I can't tolerate, my dear friend. But sorry if I used bad word. I'm sharing the reality of this thing to tell you how much suffocated I feel in this life. And even some of the videos, one of the person told me, stay in India. Now do you understand, with this sort of mentality, how could you expect me to live in India? And I didn't even say I am choosing English country. First, don't assume. And these Indian people are always highly judgmental. They don't even get to know a person. He just always blindly followed by this old rotten tradition, which should be stopped. Isn't it? And I also spoke to my parents about this. What I said is that, look mom, look dad, I'm very tired of, sick of this sort of mentality of these people who are using the old rotten tradition to make a person's life hell. I told them, my parents understood me. Then what the explanation I got from is that, look, I understand about you. Look, when there is no other choices, when you want to leave this country, you should have some mode of suffering. Okay, mom, that is, but why you always people are preferring, which means, being myself is India, then why Indian people are always obsessed with engineering, doctor and government jobs? Where are the job seeking? Which means, why are they job seeking? Where are the job creativities? Which means I am learning. Then, okay, whatever we are suffering, in future let's go settle in some other country away from this India, and let's not look back to that old rotten tradition which affected my life and my parents' life very badly. And most common thing I want to tell you is that in second point, which means the mentality of this Indian tradition corrupted societies obsessed only with engineer, doctor. Okay, these are the two things. And when a child is studying in school, when they want to have a very peaceful life by meeting with friends, these Indian parents come and interfere in their life. And they love to make threats, they love to spread all their lies, threatening them by making false accusation against them. Pretend like they are the heroes who don't even know a single basic thing. And being myself as Indian, I will not accept this sort of behavior. This sort of mentality is not at all accepted, to be frank. And still, I spoke to his parents. And the problem with this mentality is that too much of dependence in engineering, doctor, and in schools getting into IIT. A very honest thing I'm telling you guys, because these people should know that not all of them can get this. If you look at 20 apples, say, only those 2 apples will get into IIT. The rest of the things will be thrown in the garbage. First, these people should understand that. And the problem is themselves. What they didn't understand is that leading to them this situation can make a person's life a hell. To be frank, guys, this is why I don't want to live in India. This is also a reason. And another reason is that too much of dependence on competitive exam. Okay, there are some plus points about it. You can gain knowledge. Okay, there are some plus points. Very few plus points are there. But if you look at minus, too much of minus of that. This is a very common thing I can tell you guys. And in high schools, they want to choose only medical and engineering. They don't know anything else. And after finishing, they will dependent only on the government job. Throughout their life this happens, guys. This has happened to me. This is unacceptable, to be honest. Now, being myself in India, how can these Indian parents pressurize their children what they don't like? What I'm asking is right, is reality. And this is also the reason I chose not to live in India. Because only engineering, only doctor and only government jobs. No place for job creativity. See, this is exactly why my life has been a hell with this sort of mentality and attitude. And I spoke to my parents about this also. We understand, my friend, there are certain things in this where we can build up. Just few plus points is there. I'm not saying everything is fine, yes. But what did my parents think that even if you study only now, if you look at the buses and the trains moving on the road, only where this applies. Few things. Based on this only, you know how to make yourself buses, trains, cars. Okay, that is the plus point I know about it. And to be honest, this sort of mentality should be stopped. Only obsessed with engineer on government exams. And too much of dependency on competitive exams, like bank exams, UPSC, Indian Public Service, like I told you. But even though I take, that is something different. But the reason I take it is I'm just doing for myself. I'm not doing for the sake of people or sake for this corrupted Indian tradition. But still, I'm not at all proud of my life living in this country. Even if I get selected, I'm going to feel happy to all these dramas that I faced in life. And this is also a reason I was not living in India. For example, when I give a best example of UPSC, Indian Public Service, if you look at that exam, which is undertaken by the government of India. Okay, let's say for 40 apples want to appear for, which means 40 candidates want to appear for this UPSC exam. Now, just give a small example, but the amount of candidates that appear in this Indian Public Service was more than lakhs, to be frank. But the reason I'm giving 40 apples is just an example to understand how suffocated the life is, how depending on competitive exam can make the person's life hell. So these are things I want to share. And if you look 40 apples, only few will be get selected, rest of them will be rejected. And when these some apples get rejected, let me tell you what happens. The parents start to criticize them, make threats against them, love to torture as much they want. This for the sake of their families. It's very irritating to parents. And this is why I don't want to live in India anymore. And when children takes decision, what they say is that, why you disrespected? They immediately start making false assumption by threatening them, beating them to do whatever frustrations these Indian parents have, because of their own frustration they do all this sort of dramatic nonsense, like threatening them, beating them, abusing them, filled with lies, hatred and misinformation. And let me tell you guys, when their surrounding families are not well, they do all this drama. Sorry, I'm fed up with this, okay? This is exactly, I don't want to live here. Even if they come to me, I don't care. I want them to suffer. Because being myself as Indian, this same Indian who make lies about the children, I want them to suffer, to be honest. This is the end of part 1. Let me make part 2. This is the continuation of the second part. And if you look at my side of life, when Indian families take decision, they always use their authority and power to make the children's life hell. This is also a part where I don't want to stay in India. It's not because I'm born in India and living in this. It's not because of the country. It's because of the mentality of this corrupted Indian tradition, community and society. These are two reasons I don't want to live in India anymore. Look, when child wants to take own decision, okay, it has to go mingle with somebody. These Indian parents get crazy and try to make false judgment about their child's friend without even meeting a normal person. And the rotten comparative studies. This is exactly the problem. As these comparative studies cannot bring happiness in a person's life. It can only make a person's life hell. And this situation, which has made my life a disaster, I don't want to look back. It's filled with this emotional drama, except sort of lies, with hatred, misinformation. And another thing I really don't want to tolerate is that, let me tell you, like I said, when these Indian children make their own decisions, these people make their life hell. And when these Indian parents' families are not well, they are coming asking, look, they are not well. I just want them to suffer. It's being listened as Indian telling you. When these people make threats against me, now they are coming asking, they are not well, please, why should I help? Because these Indian people will blabber some nonsense, and then what they do is all part of like, sorry, this is unacceptable. I cannot tolerate this sort of mentality, okay? See, as an Indian, I'm telling you guys, I want this sort of people to suffer for their entire life. Who don't even have basic common sense, and who are always dependent on families throughout their life to make a person's life ill. See, this is also a point. I don't want to be surrounded with this rotten Indian tradition, society and community. Also, I have seen it most of my life. And when they love to make their own decision, with Indian parents, they always love to criticize to the extent. Only when parents take decision, they love to waste their life and money on something that is not going to help them. It is same rotten Indian tradition. To be honest, guys, I am not joking. You may think I'm spiteful, but this is a very truth I am sharing with you. This is not at all a political thing. It's a real thing that I want to share on why I don't want to live in India. And mostly the reason I want to stay out of it, because so that my life will be more peaceful and surrounded with mountains and animals, where I will be far away from all this toxic Indian tradition society filled with lies and mentality, and they talk all the rubbish things that they want. And imagine when I get settled in other countries, which means in European side, I will not prefer English speaking country. This is another reason, because I prefer Europe over other countries. Why? It's because of racism that happens in America, Australia, Canada, to be honest. So this is one of the things I will not prefer the countries. But even if I want to go, just as a travel, that's it. Just as a travel to explore that, that's it. But the real country I'm going to take is European side. The west side of Europe, like Austria, Poland, is far more better than all this fucking nonsense of this corrupted Indian tradition mentality, to be frank. And I have now listed so many points. Through this, one can able to get to know that how a life is more suffocated living in this India, filled with society and community who have a rotten tradition mentality, say about 1970s or something like that. Now with that sort of mentality, I can tell you that why I don't want to live in India, because I'll make it very short. These Indian society filled with traditional mentality, they always dwell in the sewage. For example, going back to here, that is not applicable in today's real life, because world has changed. I can able to see, being myself as an Indian, I can able to see the world has changed. And these Indian parents refuse to change. And they always say all these 1970s, don't give me all that fucking answer to me. I don't want to hear that fucking reason anymore in my life. one of the exact reason I am not going back to India anymore. Once I'm out of this country, and that's it. Even if I travel, except India, I will choose some other country that will allow me to get exposure to that places. But these are the things where you can get to know that as an Indian, being myself as Indian and future in NRI, why I don't want to live in India. Okay guys, I'm sorry if I have any sort of bad words, but even if anything hurted, I'm really sorry guys, because even if you think it hurts, because this is the reality I faced. I'm telling you the real part of the India. It's not because of country. It's because of this mentality of this corrupted Indian traditional society. To be honest. Okay, hope you can understand. And I'm extremely sorry for using the bad words today, because I'm just to share you that how life is a little more suffocated if you're blindly believed by this rotten old Indian tradition. Okay, hope you can understand. I'll meet you in the next video.